If your reports have different numbers than mine after you finish the exercise, then all you have to do is double-click on any different number in the trial balance. Let's take a look at the trial balance and see what happens. For example, if your video income number is different than $4,400, then I suggest that you double-click and take a look at every single transaction in the video income account. There are 4 invoices with these dates, numbers, names, and amounts. You can also do that for the editing income account. Double-click the editing income ending balance, and you can see every single transaction that was recorded into editing income. You should have the same dates, invoice numbers, and amounts. Notice that every transaction in the editing income account so far is an invoice. Now, the great thing about QuickBooks is you can view any transaction that you see listed in a report. All you have to do is double-click. For example, if I want to see invoice number 7 and exactly what I put, all I would have to do is move the mouse to invoice number 7 and double-click. Here's all the information that I put in the invoice in case I need to see something that the report can't show me. Let me close it out. Let's close out editing income, double-click video income. Here are all the invoices and video income. Let's take a look at number 5. Double-click right on invoice number 5 as it's listed in the report. And here we are. Anything you put in the memo, any other piece of data you need to see, you can see just with a double click. Once you have the window open, you can change anything you want. QuickBooks makes it easy to fix your mistakes. Any change you make will immediately affect the report results. Let's make a big change on a different invoice. Let's close out invoice number 5. Let's close the video income account. Open up the editing income account with a double click right on the balance. And let's take a look at invoice number 7. When we double click right on the line, invoice number 7 opens up and we can see what we put. Let's change the quantity from 15 to 1,500. To save the field, we push the Tab key on your keyboard. At the moment I push the key, notice QuickBooks multiplies, and now we have a huge invoice for $210,000. When we click Save and Close, QuickBooks will ask us if we're sure we want to change the transaction. When we click Yes, we can immediately see invoice number 7 has changed to $210,000. When we close out the editing income account, we can see that the trial balance has changed. Editing income has blown up to a huge number. Accounts receivable has also blown up to a huge number because invoice number 7 is also recorded in the general ledger account, accounts receivable. Let's take a look. Double-click on the balance of accounts receivable. And now you can see all of the invoices listed here, and invoice number 7 is also listed here, and you can see it looks the way it looks after we changed it. Let's fix it and change it back. Double-click on invoice number 7, click in the quantity field, change it back to 15. It will multiply when you push the Tab key, and now you have the correct amount of the invoice. When you click Save and Close, QuickBooks will always ask you if you're sure you want to change the transaction. We click Yes, and you can see invoice number 7 is back down to the original amount, and when we go back to the trial balance, everything is back to normal. This is what you have to do to find and fix any mistakes you have if your trial balance is different from this. Consider this question. Is it possible that the trial balance can be correct, but the customer balance detail is wrong. Some students who are doing this video have the same exact numbers in their trial balance, but have different numbers for the ending balances of the individual customers on the customer balance detail. If that's possible, then what would be the only mistake that you could make that would allow accounts receivable in the trial balance to be correct, but the customer balance detail and the individual balances of the customers wrong? Think about it. What if you put the wrong item? If you put the wrong item, would that allow account receivable in the trial balance to be correct, even though the customer balance detail is wrong? What if you put the wrong quantity? Would that allow account receivable in the trial balance to be correct, even though the customer balance detail is wrong? And what if you put the wrong date? Would that cause the condition we're asking about? You can pause the video if you need another minute or two to think about the answer. The answer is you put the wrong customer on an invoice. Think about what that would affect and what that would not affect. Let me show you. Here's our trial balance with account receivable equaling $21,820. Now, here's our customer balance detail that shows the total of all customers, $21,820. So it seems like everything's fine. However, if you look closely, you see that Betty has 3 invoices and Candy only has 2. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take invoice number 6 for Betty, and I'm going to change the name on the invoice from Betty to Candy. I will double click, and I will change the name on the invoice from Betty to Candy. Now when I click Save and Close, and click Yes regarding the warning to change the transaction, we now notice that invoice number 6 has become a Candy invoice. We now notice that Betty only has 2 invoices and now Candy has 3. However, the total down here, the total of all customers together, still equals $21,820, just like it says in the trial balance on account receivable. So if we put the wrong customer on invoice number 6, one customer's balance will be too high, and another customer's balance will be too low by the same amount. But total account receivable will be the same and will match the account receivable in my trial balance. Let's fix it. Double-click on number 6, change Candy back to Betty for this particular invoice, save and close, click Yes to save the transaction after the warning message, and now the numbers are back where they should be, where Betty's balance is $7,280 and Candy's balance is $5,540.